Oh, hey there, Breakfast Club. I'm Peach, and it's Sunday. So, there's been this ongoing debate regarding the Syrian refugees being accepted into the United States, as well as many other countries. Yesterday, there were two protests in the nearby town of Newton, one which was against granting refugees asylum, and the other which supports it. Now, both protests were peaceful, and the local newspaper interviewed a few people from both sides. It was the veterans who ended up getting the most attention from the reporters, apparently. One veteran stood with the pro-refugee side and was heckled by the other and was told that he wasn't a real veteran because he was on the wrong side. Another veteran who was in the anti-protest cited costs as his reason and applied the false dichotomy of the government having to choose between funding veterans or refugees because apparently the United States can't do both. And a Vietnam vet actually stated, if they like the refugees so much, why don't they take in a family and support them? It's kind of hard to do that if they're barred from entering the country, but never let logic spoil a good hate fest. For me, it's not even a question. It's a matter of compassion and humanitarianism. These are people who are fleeing ISIS-controlled areas in which they have lost everything but their lives. To turn them away is simply unconscionable. But, because they come from a Muslim country, many Americans have happily abdicated their morality in favor of fear and mistrust in an other that is easy to demonize. And this, of course, is nothing new. Not counting the numerous other demographics that have been targeted for discrimination throughout the decades and centuries of this country's history, the United States took the exact same approach when it turned away a ship full of Jews fleeing Nazi Germany in 1939. Many of whom were later murdered in the Holocaust when the ship returned to Europe. As far as I'm concerned, if you're in favor of denying refugees asylum, then you are, at least in part, in league with the goals of ISIS. It really is as simple as that. Responding to terrorism with fear and hatred and mistrust is tantamount to cooperating with terrorists, because that response is precisely what they want. At least one of the veterans at the anti-refugee protest gave a Trojan horse excuse that we would be inviting terrorism in disguise, which is exactly what ISIS wants people to think. They want refugees to be turned away. They want their caliphate, they want the conflict, and they want the abuse that ignorant bigots hurl at these unfortunate people to occur. After all, how hard is it to radicalize young people who see with their own eyes that the evil Westerners really do hate them? It also is apparently lost upon these protesters, many of whom are no doubt Christian, given the statistics and atmosphere in this county, the irony of being so fervently against accepting refugees while simultaneously preparing for their most important annual festival celebrating the alleged birth of the most famous refugee of all. And that's all from me today. Be sure to subscribe to the Breakfast Club channel if you haven't already. Give this video a thumbs up, and I will see you all here next Sunday. Paul, you are up next, and we will see you tomorrow.